Hello, and thank you for listening. My name is Luke Mardigian, and you are listening to Be Insured, a show where we discuss a variety of topics related to business, insurance, leadership, so you can stay protected while growing a thriving business. Today's show is one that is deeply personal and close to the vest. We're going to share strategies on how we use video on marketing and how we used video to grow our agency from 0 to 3.5 million over the past 4 years. And the primary way that we have marketed ourselves in the marketplace is through video on social media. So I have a panel of experts with me, starting with my co-host.
Hey, I'm Eric Gestring of Farm Bureau Insurance.
And our special guest, Tracy Spalding with Cold Box Films. And we want to talk a little bit about how you can use video in your marketing. Most people think that, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong here, okay? I think most of our listeners think you got to go big.
Yeah, everybody assumes that they need the big production value, which it's good to have, but I think Gary Vee made it perfectly clear that you can have and achieve huge success with raw content. Mm-hmm. And also Grant Cardone. There's a lot of great entrepreneurs.
Gary Vee is Gary Vaynerchuk for those who are not fanboys.
So it's definitely good. I utilize it all the time, and it's part of my obviously my strategy to keep content out there and keep top of mind for people.
Now, Tracy, what do you think about this? This concept that you sit at the movie theater and you watch the previews, and there's these highly overdeveloped commercials on the front end from Chevy and your local dentist office who spent $30,000 on some crazy video. What do you think about that perspective of video?
So there's absolutely a need for high production stuff. And I don't think it's necessarily bad that your dentist office has a really polished, well-produced video. I don't think that's necessarily where it's like, ooh, that's going to be a turnoff. I think with any video strategy, when a company is approaching that, you have to look at it from a big picture. It's what is our big picture goal for our company, right? Because video content has to move us forward in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. But it's also who are we talking to and what are we saying? Because that's going to drive the type of video that you create. What I love about you guys, and I think you're a great example of this, is you have really well-produced content. You have content that you produce on your own. But even throughout the board, it's all kinds of different content. Because I think where businesses get stuck is they think that video, the only thing they should be doing with that is selling. We need to tell people to buy our product. Yep. Well, you're only having one conversation with your audience. Yep. Whereas with you guys, you're having multiple conversations.
More intimacy.
Yes.
And you're building a relationship. So that's what all of your content should do on social media. And of course, video has to play that role as well.
Well, I think most of our listeners don't sell a widget, right? Mm-hmm. I know that Cold Box Films, you and your husband, Cooper, are Cold Box Films plus some help. I know that you tend to lean toward heavily on the pre-production. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really what separates you from everybody else is, on our end, looking at it, we don't want to just show up and hope for the best. Hope isn't a plan.
Everything that you guys do for pre-production, for planning and attention to detail is far beyond, I think, the majority of probably any film production in the area, or at least in the country. I mean,
well, so
I don't know about country, but I'll take it.
Well, yeah, here in little Michigan, I can tell you that the other option, and I've experienced it. One of my professional colleagues asked me to do a testimony for him, and I'm like, sure. And I'm picturing that same scenario that we do every time we shoot a vlog or a video with Cold Box, and a guy shows up with a camera on his shoulder like he's the news anchor.
And then probably from there you just shoot from the hip of like,
yes.
Oh, let's go. Now that we're here, we'll get this shot.
His microphone was sticking out the front of his camera. Yeah. There was no professional sound. He's asking things that clearly have nothing to do with, I'm going, well, maybe we should talk about this side of his business because that's really why I hired him and like what he's done for us. Right. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Like, how did you not know that? So I love how, so let's start from the beginning. You want to use social media. The first thing that you need to have, and you touched on it earlier, is you need to have a mission statement. You need to understand what your values of your company are. why do you exist? If your company was gone tomorrow, what would people miss about you? Because that's why you exist. For us, it's relationships. I hear it all the time from people. I call in, your staff was just so helpful, so personable. Hey, man, no one ever took the time to explain this to me. That's relationship. So we bring that to you, but how many companies actually have that stuff in place when you first sit down to talk about video?
Some do and some don't.
Would you say it's 50-50?
Well, honestly, yes. Like I've sat down with very large organizations and they've looked at me and they said, we have an identity crisis.
Wow.
We don't really know who we are. We don't really know what we should be talking about. And we really need to work on our messaging. So it actually becomes, it's preferred that you have that stuff figured out going into it because of course it makes our jobs a lot easier. When you don't, then there's this whole added part of the process of really digging down into what problem do you solve for your customers and what truly makes you different from everybody else in the market. Yeah. Because if you're only talking about buy my insurance, buy my insurance, buy my insurance, you're only letting price be the differentiator between you and your competition.
I agree 100%.
There is not, I mean, there's so much that your agency offers and you guys have that message drilled down. We offer, relationships over transactions. We offer thoughtful education. We offer people who are passionate about what they do. And we offer commercial insurance that will actually spend the time to learn about your business so that we can make sure that you're covered.
And we never stop. I mean, as you're growing, we have to continue to work. A lot of insurance companies, I feel like, drop the ball on that. They just write it and forget it.
Right. So when we look at that from a video point of view, I mean, you guys have a lot of different value propositions for your clients. And so we've leveraged video content to communicate those things in different ways. Yeah. Like, for example, I think of the Kurt from Superior Home Comfort, his testimonial.
Yep. Kurt Stewart was Superior Home Comfort in Grand Ledge, Michigan, a wonderful heating and cooling contractor.
Absolutely. Love the shout out. Yes. But that customer testimonial was a really great way for you to communicate that you learn other industries. And what was beautiful about that is Kurt told your audience. Right. Luke Mardigian didn't have to sit in the chair and tell your audience.
We didn't sell him anything. He just shared his thoughts.
Yeah. But that was also information, going back to the pre-production, that I already knew going into the interview. So when I sit in the interview chair, let's say that's the style of video we're creating, I'm like a lawyer. I don't ask a question I don't know the answer to. Yeah. Through and through, because it's my job in that chair to get the best performance out of you. It's not necessarily to like script what someone says or like manipulate it. It's to ask the right follow-up questions to make sure that we're building a strong story. You touched on it earlier. You said hope is not a plan. My favorite quote is hope is not a strategy. There you go. I don't go into a shoot hoping that it's going to be a good video. Right. My client already knows.
You over-prepare.
My client already knows what that video is going to look like before it's even shot.
Prepare.
Absolutely.
That's what Cold Box handles, the production for Be Insured, all the pre-production, including setting up guests, scripting for the entire show, our intros, graphics, even down to the cinema style cameras that record this live, and they're right there. And it's that preparation on the front end that makes it so easy just to show up and just and deliver, right? So most of our listeners are probably hesitant to do a full-blown production because they're like, well, what am I going to do?
How am I going to do that?
I'm not an actor. I'm not a public speaker.
100%.
Well, it's working with a company that knows what they're doing and is professional and does the pre-production work makes it so much more relaxed. You can walk in, it's not a performance. It's just showing up and being yourself.
And they developed us. Honestly.
Yeah. I've gotten I watched my first video that I did in 2015 and I like cringe.
Yeah, mine too.
I get, you're like, I don't know what I'm talking about, America. Yeah. And now you're like, here you are, you're my radio co-host. You're crushing it. So, the coaching on the how to deliver that stuff too, hey, I think that was good,
and relax.
Yeah.
Just talk like normal.
Yeah. You said this word. Is that what you usually use? No. Okay. What do you usually use? Kind of coaching you through it all. It's really awesome. And so that's kind of, so the front end pre-production is so critical and important. I think it's the piece that most people miss, most companies miss. And there's the actual video choice. Now, we bring video to market in a number of different ways. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to do that because I have a creative team that partners with me and I kind of give general ideas, and you guys know what I'm talking about somehow because I'm not a marketer, right? So let's talk through the different ways, the different styles of video that you can deliver on social media.
Yeah, so we'll just use you guys for an example because I feel like, again, you've created such a variety of content. So when you're approaching creating a video strategy for your business, the place where we started with you guys is, what do we need to tell our audience that we haven't said before? Because you might be saying it in one-on-one conversations with people, but the beautiful thing about social media is you can get that message out so much further. And I touched on some of those things that make you different. So what we did is we paired a video with those value propositions, right? Like we knew that we wanted to provide valuable content. So one big thing was education. So we started with the video blogs, and the video blogs were just a sit down talking head where Luke was looking directly into the camera and he was giving you tangible tips about different topics related to insurance. So
and they can be utilized on multiple platforms.
Absolutely. And they can be utilized multiple ways inside your business too.
Yeah. I mean, we don't just use it for marketing. We also will have somebody email us and go, hey, what things should I be concerned about
or can you
this?
explain PIP coverage?
Yeah, and then we have a video on the medical and auto insurance, and it's 45 seconds or a minute, and we send it to them. Hey, here's a link to a video that explains all of it.
Exactly. So those are like your big give value, give value, give value.
Not only that, but we're not wasting a lot of time explaining the same things.
In an email 1,000 times over. Exactly. That's a big thing that we look at is how can you be leveraging your video content in multiple different ways. So that's why I love the video blogs, because they're huge value added for your clients. They help with your internal process, and you will still sell, don't worry people, you will still sell your service by giving to people. It's actually the most authentic and engaging way to sell your service.
Well, it's funny because my wife will ask me often, all the social media, I mean, can you even connect a sale to that? Like, what's your ROI? And it's impossible to measure because we'll put out a video or we'll have we'll record the show on a Monday morning, and then Wednesday afternoon, I'll get a random text message from somebody that I haven't talked to in 5 years. Hey, can you quote my insurance? Well, what prompted them to do that? Well, studies show you have to touch people 12 times with your marketing before they make a decision to move somewhere in the sales process.
So if you don't continue the content, you're failing yourself.
So let's go back to the different types of videos. One is video blog, which you talked about. Yeah.
And then the other types of video content that we've created, the second is the customer testimonial videos. Those are huge in giving social and adding social proof.
I think most companies fail at capturing those. It's so critical. You're already doing it. You don't have to pay anybody to act.
And your clients are willing to do it for you. I think a lot of people think, oh, my clients don't have time, yada, yada. We got an overwhelmingly positive response.
From two very busy professionals.
Very much so. And anytime I've done customer testimonials with clients, we've always gotten a positive response. But the powerful thing about those is it's one thing for Luke to sit here and say, here are the reasons that I should be your insurance agent. It's another thing for his client to sit there and talk about why they felt like they received so much value. And and we're also choosing people that have very compelling stories that also align with those value propositions, right? That goes back to the intention, the strategy behind those things. And then the other form of video content that we've created is just really like fun, engaging skit type content. Like I think about the lake estate videos. So I mean, lake estate policies, like what would happen? Basically what you said is I get a lot of people asking me like, okay, what happens if X happens? Am I covered? So we wanted to address those things in a really just fun, engaging way. So we kind of had,
makes it relatable.
It does. And it's kind of, that video received a ton of views because it was engaging. It was entertaining.
Views or something crazy.
Well, what it did is I think it capitalized on this awareness factor. It's kind of like saying and showing the things that people are already thinking and feeling. And when you get that, that's when you get more engagement on a video because people can relate to it. They can see themselves in it. And that's a really powerful thing.
The only thing we learned from our mistakes, the one mistake with that video is too long. It seems
absolutely.
Our viewership dropped off at 45 seconds. So most of the content we put out today is under a minute or under 90 seconds. I think I heard somewhere that Facebook was rewarding companies who make videos under 15 seconds. And my brain was like, well, what can you say in 15 seconds? Hi, I'm Luke. And and that's what you're rewarding? It makes no sense.
Hi, I'm Luke. Here's a dancing squirrel.
But that's just what it is. And, I think one of the most undersold, ways to take social media and the cheapest, and Gary Vee just said it in a keynote in Singapore, is Instagram stories. Eric is a master at it, so follow him at Eric Farm Bureau on Instagram, ERIC Farm Bureau. And those are just so cheap, so easy to go to. I'm at the Farmers Market in Traverse City. and I take a quick video and let people know that we have a product that protects people who sell at farmers markets. It's free. It's awesome.
Look for Cold Box for that good production value.
Absolutely. So thank you for listening today. Tracy, where can they connect you with?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Cold Box Films.
Perfect. And you can connect with us at the Mardigian Agency. That's Mardigian. And we're happy to talk through your video production and your social media just as a value added. Thank you.